So as of yesterday, we got a really big leak in regards to Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and I see essentially no one talking about it. You see, Call of Duty many times before has had history repeat itself, and very obvious example of this is with the Modern Warfare franchise. We had the original Modern Warfare trilogy, and then we have the new Modern Warfare trilogy, and both of which have huge similarities within the story. Well, yesterday we were given this. Now, this doesn't seem like much. It seems like a big blurb of writing, but what this is the ratings board's description of Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Now, in this description, what we find out is, number one, what is the actual story of the game, and it's very similar to a previous Call of Duty game that we've seen before. And number two, what is going on with carry forward content. So one of these things is very interesting, that being the story part of it, and one of these things makes me really angry. So without further ado, let's dive into it and I can show you exactly what I am talking about. So basically what this says is that this is a mature first-person shooters for people 17 plus, but don't worry, we're going to do the thing where if you are under 17, you're going to have to get your parents' approval to play, and we're going to mute everyone's microphones anyway. Okay, it doesn't actually say that, but that's really, if you read between the lines, what it says. But it then goes on to say this is a first-person shooter in which a player engages in combat missions through outdoor terrains and realistic urban environments. As players try to prevent a tech titan from gaining power, they use pistols, machine guns, assault rifles, and explosives to kill various enemies, including hostile soldiers, robots, and creatures. So really the part that is of any importance there is preventing a tech titan from gaining power. Now, we have seen this before. We've seen this before actually a couple times. I think an easy example of this is with Black Ops 4. Now, I know Black Ops 4 doesn't have a traditional campaign, but they do have a story with cutscenes, and Savannah Mason, Alex Mason's granddaughter, David Mason's daughter, is the world's first trillionaire, and she comes to use things like direct neural interfaces and various augmentations and soldiers to create essentially a super army, and eventually needs to be stopped by the specialists. So that would be a comparison to Emma Kagan, the character that we actually see within the Black Ops 7 trailer. Pretty interesting character, as we see she is a tech titan and clearly trying to gain power. We're going to come back to that theory in a second, because an actual more apt example of this is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, we have Atlas Corporation. This corporation is founded by someone by the name of Jonathan Irons, aka the President of the United States. Sorry, I mean Kevin Spacey. Now, in that story, it's quite literally a tech titan that is trying to take over the world, take over the world's military, and that's exactly what he does. And I expect to see a very similar story here, but I've talked about this in the past. What is interesting about this is Emma Kagan is the leader of a group called the Guild. The Guild was a crime family founded on Avalon. So somehow a crime family has turned into a tech titan, which is now trying to take over the world. Now, I think we might get a little bit more information about this pretty soon, because with the season 4 ending cinematic for Black Ops 6, we see that the main characters like Frank Woods and Russell Adler are leaving Avalon. However, the one that's staying behind is Savati Dumas, and her focus is pushing the Guild forward in a good direction in the future. Where Emma Kagan comes in, however, we don't know as of yet. Maybe we see something with season 5 or maybe even season 6 if that exists moving forward. Very well, what could happen is David Mason goes in and stops Emma Kagan, and somehow David Mason's daughter Savannah ends up taking over, and that's how she becomes the world's first trillionaire. We might actually be filling in that gap of the Black Ops story, which would be kind of interesting to say the least. Now, where I said the story implications are pretty interesting of this one, when I read this next section, if you're anything like me, it's going to make you a little bit angry. It goes on to explain some weapons cause characters to explode into bloody chunks of flesh. Zombie and hallucination sequence depict frequent dismemberment and decapitations while battling hordes of enemies. So that's obviously referring to zombies. Some weapon features marijuana, joints, paraphernalia, player characters inhaling marijuana from a bong-like structure attached to a rifle, players characters smoking joints or inhaling through bongs as a part of an execution sequence. Now, if you haven't figured it out already, those items already exist in game. I'm going to come back to that. The game includes customizable cards as a part of players' identities. Some cards depict female figures designed with deep cleavage and or revealing outfits. Now, the important thing through all of this is specifically going with the drug paraphernalia and joints and things like that. These are direct descriptions of items that are already in the game. There's already a weapon that you can use as a bong. There is already a thing that turns players into joints and things like that. Now, what this tells us is a strong likelihood of one of two things. Number one, they do the same type of 420 event, and that is already planned in advance. But more likely, what this means is that carry forward content is almost guaranteed to be a thing. Now, if you don't know what carry forward content is, we've seen this once before. History is repeating itself like we saw with the story, but this time with in-game items. Moving from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, on day one of that game, you had all of the skins. So you had Nicki Minaj and 21 Savage running around within the game. You had all of the weapons from Modern Warfare 2 carry forward. And based off of what it says here, I would very strongly predict we are once again going to see the same thing. So like a video that I made about a week ago, this very well could be Black Ops 7 on day one. So yes, all of the cartoon, Beavis and Butthead, American Dad, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Seth Rogen, every single one of those characters, operators, could very well be running around the maps in Black Ops 7 on day one. Not to mention every single weapon and attachment that you've unlocked could carry forward as well. Now, one of my worries for this is one of the leaks that we heard early on with Black Ops 7 is that apparently they were working on a brand new Pick 10 system for the game. Now, here's the thing. I think the Pick 10 system is the best create a class system maybe of all time. But if we already have the create a class system for Black Ops 6, which is being ported forward into Black Ops 7, I think it makes it a lot more difficult to have a new system moving forward. Also, it brings forth the narrative of this just being a $70 or potentially even this year, because Xbox announced that the first party titles are going to be $80, an $80 DLC to Black Ops 6, which with Call of Duty HQ, carry forward content, even though it's a completely different setting, a completely different campaign, you're definitely going to get people talking about that. I am one of the few, well, I'm one of the people, I don't know if it's few, but one of the people that is very strongly against carry forward content. And based off of what we're seeing here, it appears as though they're doing it. So I don't like to just complain. I would like to give a solution. If you are indeed doing carry forward content, there's pretty much no way to avoid the weapons. But I think what we can do is put a filter in game where if you are playing in game, you only see the content from Black Ops 7. So in other words, if someone's rocking Beavis and Butthead, if someone's rocking American Dad, I can flip that switch and I will only see skins that are in Black Ops 7. And to make it even better, I would like that on by default, because if not, we've seen this happen before. History is repeating itself, and when you have those characters, those operators, and all of those weapons day one in a new game, the game no longer feels like a new game. And even though Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer was handled incredibly well, day one launch for Modern Warfare 3 went absolutely horribly because it felt like the same game that you were playing last year. Even though there was differences in gameplay, there was differences in movement, the game looked and felt the same because the same operators, the same weapons, the same calling cards were just in the game time and time again. And it appears as though history will be repeating itself in the same way. And I don't think that's a good thing. So yeah, a switch to just turn that on or off could solve that problem. And hey, it is very possible that I could be wrong here. The marijuana, the joints could be for future events and they're just preemptively ESRB rating their game. Time will tell, and we should be finding out pretty soon. I just wanted to get this information out there. We got the story stuff, we got the carry forward content stuff, and I want to hear what you guys are thinking. And by the way, I've got a lot more story content coming moving forward throughout the week, both of which are from older Call of Duty games. That's the one hit you get. So make sure you subscribe, have notifications on. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're